Welcome to Map It Marketing for small business owners who want to become more confident and capable in their marketing. I'm Rachel Klaver, and I'm a small business owner, just like you. I've learnt that there are so many different things that we are supposed to do all the time. And trying to work it all out is, quite frankly, often very confusing. In this podcast, we're going to explore what those things are and whether you need to pay attention to them. Ready? Let's get started. If I asked you to do some video recording for your business, what would your immediate reaction be? For most of my clients, it is a hard no, and it takes a lot of coaxing to get them on a camera, talking and relating to their audience to build their community. The thing is, video is here to stay for marketing. And so if we don't make peace with it, it's going to make our marketing growth really difficult as things change and adapt, and the hunger for video just grows and grows. This has been exemplified in the way that TikTok has grown and short form video is going, and especially this year on Instagram, as Instagram has moved from being more than a photo sharing app and just using video. I really wanted to help you if you've got blocks on video. So today we're talking to Harrison. He is a video coach, and one of the things I love about him is that he used to be incredibly shy in front of the camera himself. So he doesn't come across as someone who has always felt confident. In fact, for a very long time, all he wanted to do was stay behind the camera and not have anyone pay attention to him. Harrison lives in the UK, and I'm going to tell you now, he is one of the nicest people on the internet that I have met in the last few years. He is genuinely a kind and caring and gentle person, and I love the thought of being able to spend time learning from him about how to build that confidence. Welcome to episode 18 of Map It Marketing. I'm really looking forward to having this conversation with Harrison and helping you become more confident in your video. Now, if you don't like doing video and so you're tempted not to listen to this podcast, I strongly recommend just give it a go. I promise you, we're not going to make you do anything you don't want to do, but you will learn some great tips from Harrison today. And if you'd like to talk about everything and go through some of the stuff that you've listened to in this podcast, do come along to our Facebook group, Map It Marketing, to help you become a better marketer. Right, let's get started. And welcome to another episode of Map It Marketing. I'm so pleased that you're tuning in and listening to this, and I'm really looking forward to introducing to you our guest, Harrison. I'm going to do that in just a moment. But first, I would like just to encourage you, if you find the information useful in today and you want to come and talk through things and understand, do come to our Map It group, Map It Marketing. You can ask any questions in there. I don't believe in anything being a too dumb a question. And if you do start asking too many dumb questions, our team will manage you anyway, so it'll be all right. So come along and ask questions in there. But let's just jump right in. I am really excited about having Harrison today on our podcast. I talked about it a bit in the intro. I lie, I haven't done the intro yet, guys, but I'm telling you, I am going to tell you about him in the intro. But I need to ask Harrison before we start. He's going to help us with video. He just mentioned, and I heard this from another person in the UK this morning, that they're currently suffering from a heat wave of diabolical proportions. And as a New Zealander who's loves the heat, I want to know, what is a heat wave in the UK?
Oh, Rachel, it is hot over here. It is currently, wait for it, 26 degrees Celsius.
Okay. I mean, that is still a warm day, right? Is that as hot as it gets?
I mean, yeah, that is hot. that is hot.
Don't ever come to Canterbury in the South Island in the summer, because it often gets to 35. One of our team members lives in Australia, and she has 42 days, days of 42. It's pretty hot. They don't want to go outside on those days.
So you could literally cook a pizza on the bonnet of your car.
Yes, apparently we're going to put that pineapple on that pizza. Is that right?
And we're finished.
Yeah. No, I promise you. So Harrison and I have bonded over a couple of things. One, our love of goats. You'll know from, if you're a regular listener to the show, that I have a saying, which is, you need to be a goat in a tree. Harrison didn't talk about goats in a tree, but he did a beautiful Instagram carousel post around how awesome goats were, which I thought was very quirky and was actually the reason I asked him to be on the show. And then the other thing was the fact that he does not agree with pineapple on pizza, whereas I have been known to have a bit of Hawaiian every now and again.
I mean, who would have thought that me posting something about goats and my love of goats would have got me onto a podcast with a lovely Australian lady like yourself?
New Zealander,
sorry.
It's okay, because we love Australians too. We have New Zealanders. And we're very, I guess it would be like me saying that you were Scottish. Would it be the same thing?
I don't know. I feel like there is a bit more rivalry there.
We have rivalry. Yeah, but we do love each other as well. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I apologise. Yeah. New Zealand.
Oh no, it's okay. We're good. We're in Tibetan, so we get smushed together all the time. Now, let me ask you about you. Tell me a little bit about you and what you do, and a little bit about your background.
Okay, so my phone's on Do Not Disturb. I don't know how that has just happened.
Mine does the same thing. It's so annoying.
Honestly, it's on Do Not Disturb. My name is Harrison. I am 27 years old, and I'm living in the UK currently in a heat wave, if you didn't know. I absolutely cannot stand pineapple on pizza. I am promoting the fact that it should be illegal. And my love for video, which is what I do. I'm a video content creator, video coach. Started when I was younger, holding cameras while on holiday, making family films while on holiday. And then it's kind of turned into this coaching business / creating slightly eccentric, shall we say, video content with my strange sense of humor, and just loving every second of it, and really trying to help businesses level up using video. And then also focusing, which I know we're going to talk about, is overcoming camera shyness. I am a recovered camera shyness person, and I am kind of at the other side of it now. And I really, really want to make it my life goal to help as many people overcome it as possible.
I really love that, because for me, I like the camera. Like, I've always liked the camera. I used to do a bit of TV and stuff like that, and the camera comes on me and I become like this different person. Like, I'm more animated. I'm a monster in the front of the camera. But I do understand that in other things. Like, I know for me, I really struggled with jumping into just really showing my thoughts in public, because I was terrified someone was going to do that Princess Bride thing where they stand and go at you, you know. And so I love that that's something you do. I've got a question about it, because you said, as a kid you were making those family holidays. Was that partly to get away from having to be on the camera yourself?
Yeah, so to be honest, at that age, I'd never even thought about being in front of the camera. I think some people are born to, they want to be an actor or an actress, whereas for me, that was never a thing. So for me, there was never that thought when I was that age. It was like, right, I need to be in front of the camera, not behind it. I just enjoyed capturing memories. That's the best way of putting it. So when we got back from a holiday, there was no greater feeling than all my family sat around watching this video I'd made from the holiday, rather than looking at a load of pictures that no one wanted to be a part of. The thing is with video is, especially on family holidays, you can just kind of capture that behind the scenes. You can kind of sneak around without being weird. But when you say to people, smile, it's like, oh, do we have to? Especially when it comes to family, right? Yeah. So I loved capturing memories. It was only when I was probably at university where I thought, actually, being in front of the camera might be a pretty cool skill to master, but it terrified me. And that's when that transition happened.
That's really interesting. Actually, when you were talking about that, I watched this TikTok. I'm into TikTok at the moment, and I watched this TikTok video. It was someone who, a bit like you, had made a family video, and they'd done a family wedding, but then they dubbed it over with like a Schitt's Creek style kind of dub over with sarcastic comments between like the like pull things out. And I was like, it is a real skill. My daughter, she's 15. She's got that skill of editing. Like, you can give her something and she can just tie something together and turn it into a story. That is a real skill, isn't it? Just like, before we talk about the camera thing, that is one of the other things I think people get stressed about. Is it's not today. When we used to talk about being on camera, you'd get a camera crew in and you'd get people in and they'd edit everything. That technical side is often part of that fear, do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I think we are we brought up watching our favorite YouTubers, our favorite TikTokers that have got thousands of pounds worth of cameras and lighting, where actually, for me personally, certainly this didn't help me, was having fancy equipment in front of me, because it scares you even more when you've got lights and cameras and all sorts. So I'm all about simplifying the process, and I honestly believe that video has never been as accessible as it is today.
I think that is so true. Like, I find that one of the things that I have discovered from actually being on TikTok is even the idea with the TikTok editor, that I can clip little bits and make things a lot more snappier. Yep. And you can actually make something sound like it's quite a professional, reasonably professional edit, to tell a story, instead of having to just jump on and talk to camera and hope that every word is perfect in that one take.
Yeah. And I think for me, I mean, there's no secrets on my profile, who I am here, who I am with my family, who I am on the videos, that's me. And one thing I do say is that all of my Instagram reels are created on this with a free editing app on this. I have the equipment, I have Final Cut Pro to edit, but I know what is easier for me, and it's that.
So, for those of you listening to the audio, he picked up a phone.
Apologies. Yeah.
He's so video friendly. He just wants to do it. But can I ask you, you said a free app. Which app do you use for your video?
So I use InShot, which is available on iOS and Android. There's no excuses, people. It's absolutely free of charge. You don't need to dig deep into your pockets for this one. It's free of charge, and it is as easy or as complicated as you want it to be.
I've been, I started off pretty basic in it. And I think one of the things I tell my clients is you don't have to know everything about the app when you start. You can just have a little play. There's nothing wrong with a couple of mistakes here and there. And then you can get a bit fancier and do like the pips and other things like that if you want to do them. I agree with you that it is that idea of just being released to play is really important when you're learning. Now, before we jump into a few things around the video, I do have a very important question about your past.
Okay.
Because you say that you didn't want to be on video. However, you do have a past career experience that does indicate to me that you do love to perform.
I know where you're going with this, but please, just in case I don't know, I'm not going to give anything away.
Oh no! Now I feel like I want to like jump you in here. So you did actually used to do a little bit of a onstage rhyme rhythm thing going on, didn't you?
Yeah. So I did. Yeah. There's no hiding it. I mean, I put it out to the world the other day, which was difficult, actually, a lot more difficult than I thought it was going to be, just because I think it brought back a lot of bad memories, but also good memories. And it's a bit of a strange one, but I used to love, and I still do now, kind of, but not in the same way, but love making music, whether it was rap music. The rap side of things wasn't so much, oh, look, I'm a rapper, I want Bentleys and this and that. It was more of putting things together and rhyming and that creative side, and also making people laugh, because that's something that I think is really important. And it's something I've always done, is try and make people laugh.
Yeah.
And that was something that I did, and we'd have in school rap battles and things like that. And that was something I did. And I guess you're right. That may be where the performing side of things started, or the entertaining side started, but certainly not on camera. I mean, you won't find any footage. Very, very rare that you'll find any. Yeah, you can try.
Pretty good at Googling. Actually, because I do think people often are quite surprised when they find out I'm introverted, because I do like being on camera and I do like that kind of performance side. And I do lots of speaking. But for me, even though I say it's the same person, there is a public persona person that I put on. It's a bit more, the person on camera is a little bit more than the real life person. And I write marketing parody songs, so I'm totally connecting with this. I'm due to do a bunch. My 15-year-old now does the arrangements of them, but I did one last year for Christmas. I literally spent weeks on this. I was so tired. I was so busy, but I did one to last Christmas, and it had like 9-part harmony, and I did it on an a cappella app. And and it got to the point where I was like, you actually literally have to stop working on this, because there's all this other stuff you have to do. But for me, that same thing, like I love that music thing, and I love bringing in the humor and the music to help people connect, because if we're just teaching from a boredom place, like a real straight place, it's really hard for people to take stuff in. And I think that's what you do as well, that's what you do so well.
Yeah. And I think that is actually, what you've mentioned there, Rachel, is that like a lot of people do struggle with who they are in real life and who they are on camera. I put real life there in inverted commas because for me, there's no separation between the two. But I know that for a lot of people, and certainly me to begin with, it was like, right, I'm this person, but I can't show who I am on camera 100% because I can't swear and people won't like me if I say this and do this. And actually I've, only in the last year, I've fully kind of embraced and been unapologetically myself. And I think we have to. And I understand that a lot of people, that's a challenge for them.
It is hard. I feel like for me, video has been a very healing thing, which seems weird. But I was the quirky kid at school. I was kind of quirky, and then it kind of got beaten out of me when I was a teenager, and I just wanted to really fit in. And I'm going to show you in a minute these glasses, because they quite often appear these big sunglasses. I quite often use these big sunglasses in joking. I've got a big pile of props because they help me kind of get that goof side over with video. And you don't have to do that. Like, people might be listening to this and go, oh, do I have to be goofy? Goofiness is a part of who I am. And so video has really liberated that chance for me to do that. I'm thinking that that's the same for you, isn't it? It's kind of maybe helped you show the real Harrison.
Do you know what was really difficult for me? I was wasting all of my energy on trying to be someone else, when actually it's so much less energy zapping to just be yourself. And the moment I had that realization and that light bulb moment, I felt fulfilled, like almost instantly, because I was like, oh my God, I can be myself and people like that. Some people like don't.
It more because they're not seeing the fake. They're not thinking there's something off. And I am so proud of you for that, but I'm also so gutted because I only learned that in my 40s. And I think it's so important to actually have that, because so many people are walking around going, I have to show what people want to see, not the real me. And the real you, unless I always go, look, Donald Trump had 70 million people voting for him. He's showing the real him, and whether you like him or not, a whole lot of people liked him. And so you just be the real you. The right people for you will come to you if that happens. And video is a great way to do that, isn't it?
It is. It absolutely is. And that's why my kind of slogan since I started this has been just hit record, because I think it's so important that we do just hit record and don't let the overthinking or the technical side of things take over. Because I think the more you think about, I need to start creating video content, the less likely you are to do it, or the less likely you are to do it and be yourself. So what you need to do is hit record and just go for it. Just speak to that camera and speak to the people. And remember that camera is not judging you. And that is the key. It's not judging you.
The camera is not judging you is such a great thing to say. I actually, I have this on Otter AI. It's transcribing as we talk. That will be a quote, because that is such a beautiful one. Now, I have actually been using one of your techniques with our clients. I credit you for it, by the way. If I steal a specific technique,
you're more than welcome. You go.
It was one where you talked about people who are so petrified of being on camera. You gave them a step-by-step process. Do you want to walk through what that is? Because I found it I was giving them something else. You took it a step back further, and I felt like you just really did understand the fear, because for people I've worked with, they've gone, oh my gosh, I can do that. Do you know what I'm talking about?
There's two things that spring to mind. So there's the video journaling, which is cool. So that is something that really helped me. And, like we discussed at the start of this, is that we both are kind of teaching and helping people from our own experiences. What I teach in my coaching sessions and what I talk about on my Instagram is stuff that I've done. So the video journaling side of things, I think, is really important. And in a nutshell, you're more than welcome to anyone listening or watching this to go and check it out on my feed. But in a nutshell, video journaling is essentially the same as journaling, but in front of a camera. So what I want you to do is at the start of your day, as soon as you get up, prop your phone up and hit record. Talk to your camera about what you're doing that day, what you're feeling, and what your goals are. And basically every single morning, and do that. And eventually you'll start feeling more comfortable just being around the camera. That's the point of this. But also, this isn't going anywhere. This is literally just in your phone for you to watch back. What you will find is it will go either one of two ways for the first day. It will either go on for ages, like 10 minutes, you'll be waffling to the camera, or it will go on for 10 seconds because you'll be like, my name's Joe Bloggs and today I'm doing this. And then you'll panic, right? That's okay. That's the point. And every day you do it, you're becoming more comfortable to the point where you're just completely oblivious to the fact there's a camera. And that's kind of in a nutshell. But there's a lot of, I guess, psychology behind it, and that was something that really helped me with both public speaking and being in front of the camera.
I really love it. Now, if they've done that, what would be the next step for you? Like, because I know for me, what I'd recommend, I'd be interested to see if we do the same thing. What would be the next step into video for you after that? Like, if they were going to go, right now I'm ready, what's the easiest step for them after that?
So I would recommend jumping straight to Instagram stories, because that is pretty much what you're doing. I guess with Instagram stories, you can control a little bit more in terms of what you're saying, and you can cut stuff out, but it is that raw behind the scenes element that is really, really going to humanize your brand instantly, and differentiate between you and these robotic brands and businesses that we see every day on social media. Your personality is what is selling you. Your personality is what attracts people. So that is exactly what you should do. So do the video journaling. Once you feel confident, jump onto Instagram stories and just talk to your people, because they are waiting to see your face and hear your voice.
I have a couple of clients where I bullied them into doing it. And one of them, I fought with her for 4 years. I've got another client. I'm hoping this podcast is going to be the final crack for this person, and she's going to do it. But one of them, she was like, I don't want to do it. It's a waste of time. On day 2, she got someone saying in a message, oh my gosh, I'm so pleased you explained how that worked. I'm going to go and buy one now. And she went, oh my gosh, it works. And then the other person, I got an email saying, you lied, you bitch. And I was like, oh my gosh. And she sent me this long email about how I'd said that no one was going to watch her on the first day, not to worry about it, and that it would be totally fine. And she said, all these people watched it and said that I was awesome and they wanted to buy my stuff. And I was like, okay, so it wasn't that bad. Yep. It is amazing. People are waiting to hear from you.
You wouldn't believe the amount that video influences buying decisions. Like, that is something that, as soon as you hear from someone that a product has worked for them or a service has worked for them, the first thing you do is Google it or YouTube how it works or whatever. And we look for these how-to guides. That is influencing your buying decision. If I see an advert for something that I know that I need in my life and it's telling me how to use it and it's super easy, I'm buying it. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Like it really, there's so many different avenues to video, but at the same time, I'm really trying to focus on simplifying it for the individual that I'm coaching or talking to on Instagram. Because I understand that some people don't think the video is necessarily applicable to their business, which I would disagree with. I challenge anyone to challenge me to kind of say that video doesn't fit for their business, because I'll make it fit.
I agree with you. I feel that I would have said maybe 3 or 4 years ago, look, you can probably get away without having it. And now I'm like, you just can't escape it. You have to have video, partly because of the way that we're consuming content. We just want to see, I think part of it, and it's interesting because you've just had Freedom Day, I think, in the UK. We were all outraged by it. Yeah. But one of the things with, like, you guys have had like a lot of lockdown, a lot more than we have in New Zealand. And I feel that one of the things that video has shown or moved us through is that with the rise of social media, even with lockdowns or without lockdowns, we've become a lot more insular. And so we're craving a human connection that you can't get from a photo or a static image. When you've got a video, you're watching micro expressions. You can't lie. If you're lying on a video, people will be able to tell that you're lying. Is that how you think too, that that's one of the reasons it's so important?
That is, you literally took the words out of my mouth. That's absolutely spot on. And let's be honest, TikTok only really took off during lockdown for that exact reason. We were all in a pretty kind of depressive state of mind because we were locked in our houses. And, I know that you guys had it bad as well, like we all did. And I think that we were looking, like you said, we were looking for that human interaction, but also just to pick me up. So that is where video is so important. Let's be honest, the high street offices, like big corporate offices, they're never going to be the same again. And certainly not in our time. So I think that, well, actually, video is the way. I mean, look at Zoom, look at all of these platforms, which potentially half of us didn't even know about before, before it was just Skype. So yeah, video is the way that we can all keep in touch with each other, regardless of what's happening in the outside world. And that is so important.
Yeah, and I think too, like I love public speaking and live speaking, but one of the things with video is you have a recorded end result that you can use again. And I've actually the podcast that's coming out today, the day that we're recording this, is around TikTok. It's from a client, not client, an amazing guest, Tasha. I shouldn't say she's a client, she definitely isn't. And she talks about how that she didn't want to be on video, but she's now getting like $10,000 a day sales from these TikTok videos. And the trust level, like how it's built this community, it's so powerful what you can do. And then she's repurposing it. One video goes everywhere. Are you doing that? Are you repurposing your content?
I am. Yeah, I'm a massive advocate of repurposing not only video content, but also, from blogs, from audio, from everywhere. I could repurpose from anywhere, and I do. I also repurpose ideas. So not just the content that's gone out, but actually ideas that I've had that I've thought, actually, I'll adapt them so they're more appropriate to this person. Realistically, we are all posting out our own messages and values and stuff and content, but each time we're targeting different people. So if I post a carousel about camera shyness and then I post a video about camera shyness, they're both targeting different people, because some people respond better to imagery and some people respond better to video. So the same message, but I'm hitting different people. And that's the way I look at it.
Because obviously I'm a marketing strategist, and I that little nugget just kind of lit a little light in me, because I kind of think about repeating the content, but I didn't think about the fact that it's because of the different way people learn, you are actually impacting that. And I should know that because I'm a teacher as well as a strategist. But so that was awesome. I love that. Now, what are some common fears about video for you? Like, obviously we've got like the technical one, the worrying that people won't like us. Are there other ones that you see are quite common?
I guess you've got the umbrella term, which is the overthinking side of things, and obviously then under that, everything kind of we can go on for various different avenues and different worries and concerns. I think you're right. I think there's the element of what are people going to think, friends and family. That's kind of the main one that I hear about. Also, one that maybe we don't think about is, which I have helped people with, is how they sound.
Oh, yes.
They don't like hearing their own voice back. Which is interesting, because that wasn't actually something I struggled with, but I know that it's something a lot of people do struggle with.
Was it your post that talked about, it might have been you, it might have been Lucas. I saw a post that talked about why our voices sound different, and it's to do with the way that it sounds in our ears.
It wasn't me, but I've read exactly the same. So we must be following the same person that said that.
I'm actually interviewing him after you. But yeah, I found that was really interesting, because it's the same with our faces. Quite often we're seeing a mirrored version of our face. We're not seeing the face that we see in the mirror. We're seeing the face, I get confused, but it's that same thing, isn't it? It's a disconnect. And so you feel unsafe when you see it.
Yeah. Yeah. And let's be honest, it doesn't feel natural. Like, it's not, you aren't just born. And I know people say it all the time, you're born for movies and all this. You're not. We are all kind of born into, I guess, a fearless kind of mindset, when we're young. But I don't think you are born confident. I think you have to kind of build that up, and other people build it up for you as well without you knowing. But yeah, I think there's that. I think there's imposter syndrome. Am I good enough? Who's going to want to listen to me? Do I know what I'm talking about? Yeah. I was a massive, massive sufferer of imposter syndrome because I'm self-taught. And for anyone out there that's self-taught, for anyone out there that's self-taught, it's difficult to ever call yourself an expert or think you know enough to help people. But I'm telling you now, drop that guard, because you are an expert and you will know more than most people. And it's all about your passion and who you are. And again, we come back to video. That's the way to showcase that.
I think one of the things I learned from that is I used to be a teacher years ago, and one of the things I learned was I'm not a naturally agile person, but I'm quite creative. I found it much harder to teach 5 and 6 year olds how to do art than I did to teach them simple ball skills. And the reason that is that I love art. All that beginner stuff that people struggle with, I can do that stuff. It's very easy for me. And so to go right back down to that beginner level and then help people build up was really tricky for me. But when it came to PE, I was struggling to catch the ball myself. So if I was like going through and having to learn that before I taught it, I actually was a better teacher for young learners. And I think that's one of the things that made me have my piece is look, I don't want to be I'm not always the front of line. Like when Clubhouse came out, I jumped and had a look around and then went, hey, my target market's not here. I'm not going to be here. I didn't want to I'm not always the first adapter, the early adapter. My clients are here. I'm showing a level here. I'm like 4 or 5 or 6 or 8 steps ahead. But I think that's the same with you. The reason you're good at what you do and the reason you caught my eye around what you do is I can see that you're teaching them the pathway that you found. Yeah. And that's powerful.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad firstly that that's come across, because that is the exact way I'm thinking, is like, no fancy jargon, because firstly, not because I don't want to put people off, but I don't actually know it. Like, I'm self-taught. I don't know. If you go back through my Instagram and look at some of the transition names that I used in a recent series, I mean, yeah, they're definitely not technically correct. But yeah, I think we just need to strip back to basics sometimes and simplify the process, and also talk about, like you said, the step by step. So this is where I began. I'm absolutely not ashamed of the fact that I used to be terrified, and I'm confident that I can help anyone and everyone if they're ready to take action. And I think it's so important. And you know what? It's not just about confidence on camera, confidence with public speaking or being comfortable. It's actually a lot more personal than that as well. You feel better in yourself. You feel like, wow, I'm being myself. Your shoulders are back. You're feeling good. That's a really, really good feeling to have. And that's something that being confident on camera gave me.
Yeah, I think for me, one of the things that I struggled with for a long time is when you see yourself on camera, you're seeing yourself in the way that you think, oh my gosh, is that how people see you? Because cameras don't hide flaws, because earlier I didn't do my hair properly and I had makeup on and stuff like that. And I do a lot of my videos without makeup and without my hair being tidy, because literally that's how I am most of the time. Yeah, you don't wear makeup and do your hair either? Damn it.
Nope, very rarely. Sometimes on the weekend.
Yeah. Well, and I often, like, I'm wearing a hoodie, and I purposely do it because I want people to go and see, I'm not trying to show you my perfect face. I'm not trying to show you, I'm just showing up as I am, because actually people use me because of my brain, not because I managed to straighten my hair this morning. And I think that you don't have to do that, but it's very liberating when you understand that you can show up as yourself. And I think women find this quite hard because we get taught, you've got to make sure you've got the right clothes, or you've got to be this size or whatever it is, this trendy thing. I don't know if guys feel that as much, but I think that it is that thing where you feel like you've got to be this person, but that might not be who you are. And it's very liberating when people like the person you are. Healing.
It really is. And it's powerful. And I can totally relate, because in school, I was a social butterfly. I was in and out of different groups, and I was the same. I felt like I needed to be good at football. I needed to be good with, talking to girls. I needed to be academic. I needed to be this, I needed to be that. And I was none of them, or I was a little bit of all of them. I don't know. But I was a social butterfly. And I think that's something that I really struggled with. And then thinking I was Eminem probably didn't help either. But look, we all have these past experiences. I'm through that one. If anyone wants a freestyle, I'll bust one out. But I think at the moment, I'm very happy with the fact that I feel better in myself because I am myself, and like that's it.
I do feel like we might need to do a remix reel at some point. We might need to find like a topic about confidence or something. I'll do like the singing bit, you do the rapping bit, and we can do like
I'm there. I'll do a bit of beatboxing as well,
Oh my gosh, it sounds good. My children will literally make me move out of the house. I reckon that would be the final straw. I joined TikTok and they didn't talk to me for a week. So I love that you've got that advice. It's so I've found this has been such a great conversation, because I feel that people often struggle with video and thinking that it is that it's such a big thing, but it is often about a personal journey as much as a professional journey. What are, like you talked about, you use your phone, you use InShot. If someone, besides getting that started and going from journaling to reels, what things do you recommend people talk about, or what's some easy topics that people could potentially talk about to get started as well?
Yeah, so I think one that would be a really good place to start, which is kind of what we've covered here, is talking about past experiences and how that is related to where you are now and what you're doing. I think that's really important. So I did a post about the rapping. Yeah, it was funny. It was it was also meaningful. You know, there's loads of stuff behind it. I've got another one coming up, sneaky exclusive. I used to be a bodyguard, so I've got a post coming up about that.
That's
so there's
cool.
like, but you relate it to your niche and to your industry, and it's about storytelling, you know, and social media. The clue's in the title. Hello, be social, like talk to people, have the storytelling element. So that would be where I would start, is just thinking, right, what experiences in my life have got me to where I am today, whether they're good or bad, it doesn't matter. Share them. And then, like we discussed, get on Instagram stories, talk to your people. They're waiting for you.
I think that's awesome. I was joking with my husband the other day, because every time I do a LinkedIn post, it mentions when I was a single mother. I get like 4 times as many views and comments. But I shared yesterday, I shared about the time that I'd wanted to meet Gok Wan, and then I happened to meet him the next week, and he gave me like 2 pairs of glasses, and it was like this cool story about it. But that was like, so I do think personal story is really good. And those are big stories, but they can be little stories too, can't they? They can be like the time I was 3 and I got caught under a couch when I was visiting my friend because I wasn't allowed to be there. They can be all sorts of little things that bring in just your little memories or things that people can resonate with.
It could literally be as simple as when you went to the shop this morning, someone said something, and it, you know, that's something you talk about. Wow, you know, they had this point of view or this opinion. And also, secondly, I've also met Gok Wan, and it was so random. He just literally walked past me, and I did a video with him. So I'll send it to you.
I would love that.
He was such a friendly. Sorry, I just had to add that in.
Yes, really. No, I love that you told me that. Yeah, I will actually just tell you. So I was on the way to a work trip, and I was like, you know, one person I'd like to meet is Gok Wan. And I just was in my head. So when I was at the airport waiting, I thought, I'm going to find the PR agency that's involved with this. And so I found someone and said, hey, look, I'd like to arrange an interview with him, like a phone interview or something. And they said, oh, he's going to be in the country next week. Would you like to be invited to his meet and greet and be given some glasses? And I was like, wow. Okay. So he fitted, amazing. They're not these ones, but he fitted glasses, gave me fitted glasses, and I had a chat to him. And yeah. Yes,
wow, and he's had a yeah, there you go. He's had a pretty incredible journey himself as well. Yeah. So yeah, no, that's cool.
Okay, so let's look at him because he's interesting. He shares his past to connect with people.
Yep,
that is the power, isn't it?
It is. You look at anyone like that we like, you know, whether they're in the limelight or not, and they've all had these experiences that have shaped, you know, where they are now, and also where they want to be. So I think just be yourself, just hit record, be unapologetically yourself, and just enjoy every second of the process. If you're not enjoying it, don't do it. It's as simple as that. It really is. Don't overthink it. Just do it, enjoy it. If you don't enjoy it, take a step away from it.
That's amazing. Now, Harrison, I know that you're in the UK, which means you're in a different time zone, but there's lots of people here that also do video. And the reason I wanted you to be on the podcast is because we do actually share so many similar values around how you teach. And you've got that you have a really beautiful gentleness around how I can see it. Like I can see that passion. If people are listening, and we do have people all around the world that do it, who wanted to work with you, how would they do that?
Yeah, of course. So the best way to do that is to check me out on Instagram, which is IAMH Creative, and I would absolutely just send me a DM. Let's have a chat. I mean, that's what we're here for. You know, we're here to network, and I'm here to build a community and be around like-minded people. So send me a DM, and there's various different avenues depending on the challenges you're facing and stuff. We can talk about coaching, we can talk about tips and tricks. Anything that I can do to help you, I will do. But I would just say, send me a DM and let's have a chat, because I'd love to get to know you.
Awesome. That's amazing. And your Instagram thing will be in the show notes as well. I've really enjoyed this because I do think that with video, people get stuck with the technical stuff, which we've already said is actually quite simple to do. But actually it often is a heart thing, isn't it? It's a block and a heart thing. And I do think that my why definitely came from the fact that I realized that video was part of a healing journey to come back to myself. And when I learned that, video became a lot more attractive.
Yep. And that's the exact same journey that I've been on and the exact same feeling. And we completely share that. And I feel that. And I want as many other people to feel that as possible, because like you said, it is part of healing. It's part of who you are. And there's no better feeling than showcasing who you are and people kind of paying for it. Do you know what I mean? Like it's just, you know, you can really, really connect with people on a whole different level by using video content. and I would recommend you start today, people.
That's awesome. As per normal, everybody, at the end of this, there'll be like a little bit of me offering some practical tips about how to apply this in your marketing strategy. But Harrison, I want to say thank you so much for being part of today. I do really love the heart that you have for marketing, and I get very passionate when I find other people like you from all around the world and go, oh, I can't believe I got to, with the power of video and internet, I got to meet someone who shares the same values I have when it comes to the people that I want to serve as well. So thank you so much. It was also very nice. If people can't see the video, he's got a beautiful bunch of pink roses in the background that are waving in the air conditioning crisis that Harrison has had with his 26-degree heat wave.
It's like I'm sat in a room full of lava. But look, it's amazing. You are an amazing host. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you to anyone that is listening. And I look forward to receiving some DMs so we can have a chat.
It sounds amazing. I'm looking forward to it as well.
Thank you so much.
I love the phrase, the camera is not judging you. And I also really love Harrison's phrase, just hit record, because I do think so often we get terrified about giving it a start and we're worried about making mistakes. Now, I'm going to go through a few things I'd like you to take from today. But first, if you live in the South Island of New Zealand, I'm coming to you. In September and in October, we're going to 4 areas. We're going to Invercargill, Dunedin, Christchurch, and then in Nelson. And I'm running my full-day Map It marketing course. It's completely free. You can come to it and learn and come out with an action plan to help you with your marketing. I would love to see you there. For everyone else, let's get back to some tasks. Right, so the first thing is, if you haven't been doing any video marketing, I want you to start with that journaling that Harrison suggested. Just open your phone and start talking to yourself in the camera to get used to it. It's basically just us getting more comfortable. Once you've done that, jump on stories and try and do a story. Record yourself in a story. Don't overthink it. Press send, make it go live. Put the phone down and realize that the world has not ended. Let's start small and start moving through. Now, if you want to go beyond that, you can try Reels, and I would definitely follow Harrison for some more tips and ideas. He's got some amazing ones. So his details are in the show notes. So do that. The information about the courses, the Eventbrite courses, will also be in the show notes. And we have got a great episode next week. We are talking all about how to repurpose content. And I'm going to share with you what I do once I've done this podcast and how I repurpose and reuse the content from it. And you can do exactly the same with blogs and other types of material. Look forward to that with you next week.
Thanks for tuning in today to Map It Marketing with me, Rachel Klaver. Make sure you hit subscribe in your podcast app so you don't miss an episode. And if you want notes or information about today's podcast, go to rachelklaver.com/podcast for more information.